Hi, Miss Elnas. My name is Tolgahan and I was responsible for procedures and work instructions section. And my subject is software quality assurance. In short, it's called SQA. In my section, there was just a little information. It was really general. That's why I searched my topic and got some detailed information about the topic. After that brief introduction, I am beginning to present my project. First of all, software quality assurance, shortly SQA, is an umbrella activity that is applied throughout the software process. SQA encompasses on some matters, and these are a quality management approach, effective software engineering technology, formal technical reviews, multi-tier testing strategy, control of software documentation and the changes made to it, a procedure to ensure compliance with software development standards, measurement and reporting mechanism. SQA activities. SQA is composed of a variety of tasks associated with two different constituencies: the software engineer who do technical work and an SQA group that has responsibility for quality assurance planning, oversight, record keeping analysis and reporting. The charter of the SQA group is to assist software team in achieving a high quality end product. The SEI recommends a set of SQA activities that address quality assurance. Prepare an SQA plan for a project. The plan is developed during project planning and is reviewed by all interested parties. SQA activities performed by the software engineering team and the SQA team group are governed by the plan. The plan identifies evaluation to be performed, audits and reviews to be performed, standards that are applicable to the project, procedures for error reporting and tracking, documents to be produced by the SQA team, amount of feedback provided to the software project team. Participates in the development of the project's software process description. The software team selects a process for the work to be performed. The SQA reviews the process description and compliance with organization policy, internal software standards, externally imposed standards, and other parts of the software project plan. Reviews software engineering activities to verify compliance with defined software process. The SQA group identifies, documents and track deviations from the process and verifies that corrections have been made. Audits designated software work products to verify compliance with those defined as part of the software process. The SQA reviews selected work products, identifies documents and track deviations, verifies that corrections have been made, and periodically reports the results of its works to the manager. There was a mini case in my section and I will talk about it now. A damage of $9,000 was paid by Lion Software to Superbox, a chain of 80 supermarkets, for failure to repair a software problem. The failure totally paralyzed Superbox's sales and inventory systems for 96 hours. Many beyond the 36 hours contracted maximal time allowed for the complete repair of software failures. The damages paid were actually just a fraction of the losses caused by the total shutdown of the sales during these 4 days. Superbugs announced that damages paid, although calculated according to the maintenance contract. Damages caused are not satisfactory, and that his lawyer is preparing a legal claim on the basis of Lion Software's negligence to provide an appropriate software correction service. The story behind this event is as follows. A major software failure, completely halting the software processing of sales and inventory systems, was reported at the Lion User Support Center on Saturday about midday. Jack Fox, on duty at the time, tried for about 3 hours to perform remote correction of the failure, but with no success. Hence, he scheduled Ben Tracy, a new member of the maintenance team, to arrive at Superbug's headquarters on Monday morning and handle the software problem. After a 1.5 hour Ford drive from Lion Software quarters, Ben arrived at Superbug's headquarters shortly before midday. He spent the afternoon hours examining the documentation available on the site and performed a number of unsuccessful attempts to locate the faulty software module. He left Superbug's office in the afternoon, promising to return early the next morning, which he did. Ben spent the next day trying out various routes to correct the failure, but again with no success. By Tuesday afternoon, the Superbug's operations manager approached the head of the Lion Software Maintenance Department for help. He received calming words of encouragement and promises that system recovery is just around the corner. Shortly after this, the head of the Lion Software Maintenance Department called Ben and asked for explanations. Ben, in his defense, claimed that he is just an hour or two away from fixing the problem. However, by the end of the Tuesday, no solution had been achieved. On Wednesday, Ben arrived at Superbug's head offices much earlier than the previous day and full of new ideas to solve the problem. While Ben continued his efforts, Superbug's general manager tried desperately to locate the general manager of Lion Software, who was out of office. When they finally managed to talk, a heated discussion took place with Superbug's general manager, demanding the immediate replacement of Ben Fox with a senior software maintenance team to enable solving the already very costly problem with no delay. In response, a team of 3 very experienced technicians were sent to Superbug's offices early Wednesday afternoon. The software problem was finally solved in the late evening hours. Thursday morning was spent recovering the software system, and finally by Thursday midday, everybody sighed with relief as the software system was again fully functioning. A week later, all relevant management and staff members were called for a discussion on management's conclusions of the Superbugs event. The general manager opened the meeting. As things are, it is clear that the damages paid to Superbugs are just a small part of the expected damage to our company. The severe damage to our reputation is going to be costly. He then started to discuss his conclusions. I found that after 5 years of operation, our company has no procedures relating to the handling of service call at our users support center, and no follow-up and reporting procedures for technicians working at the customer sites. After that, the manager says there will be a guideline for this type of problems, and this guidelines concern will be as follows in the next slide. The technician receiving the service call must first try to resolve the problem remotely. An inexperienced technician may join the repair work at a customer site only as an integral part of his training. It means that you can't send an inexperienced technician to solve a problem. You can just send him with someone who is experienced to do the job and learn something from it. When no remote solution may be found, only an experienced technician is to be sent to the site, and only after true efforts to remotely handle the failure have been invested. In cases of priority customers, such as Superbox, a team of 2 experienced technicians will be sent to resolve the software problem at the customer site. In cases of priority customers, correction work will continue through Sunday, given the customer provides necessary arrangements for the correction team. Before leaving for the customer site, the technician will be notified of the senior technician with whom he must consult regarding his difficulties to resolve the software problem. The technician will report to the user support center once every 3 hours about the progress in his failure repair work. The follow-up and control of technicians at customer sites must be ongoing at all times. In cases when a solution has not been found within 8 hours following the customer's call, a senior technician will be sent to join the technician on site. In cases when a solution has not been found within 24 hours, the head of the maintenance team must be notified about the situation. The head of the maintenance team will, from this moment on, direct efforts required to solve the problem. These are my informations, teacher. And as I said earlier in the presentation, there was just 4 pages in my section, and 2 pages of the 4 pages was about Superbox event and its story. In that story, writer tries to makes us understand the importance of the SQA software quality standards. In this 2 pages, there was very general informations about software quality standards. That's why I wanted to search on the internet about the topic, and I searched every headline of the part of the topic. Then I gathered some information, some detailed informations about the topic. Then I present them first after that I mentioned the story. I had a shortly description of the story, but I wanted to use the real story on my presentation because it's really important to understand importance and the history of the software quality standards, I think. And that's my YouTube link. That's it. Thank you for listening, teacher.
Hello, my name is AYDIN, and today I'm going to talk about procedures, chapter 17. Let's start with what is procedure. A procedure is a particular way of accomplishing something or of acting. In other words, procedure is accomplishing a task according to a given method. So you got a job to do it, and it shows you how to do it, actually, basically. The procedures adopted by an organization are considered to be binding for the organization employees, meaning that each employee is to be performed his or her task according to the steps appearing in the relevant procedure document, often bearing the name of the design task. It's basically the same thing. Procedures also tend to be universal within an organization, meaning that they are applied whenever the task is performed, irrespective of the person performing the task or the organizational context. Let's talk about a little bit work instructions. Work instructions are used mainly in case when a uniform method or performing the task throughout the organization is crucial to its success. As a result, work instructions are specific to a team or department. They supplement procedures by providing explicit details that are suitable solely to the needs of one team, department, or unit. So, procedures are general, okay, but the work instructions you can use for a team, for a department. It's more specific. The software quality assurance procedures and work instructions of special interest to us are those that affect the quality of software product, software maintenance, and software project management. Professionally developed and maintained software quality assurance procedures conform to an organization quality policy and also tend to conform to international or national software quality standards. An important point to bear in mind when preparing procedure is that procedural conformity with an software quality assurance standard supports certification of the organization's software quality assurance system. ISO standard is one of the main certification standards that guide the preparation of the procedures. And there is a conceptual hierarchy table. Think about it, you got a job, you got a company, okay? So you need some international or national software quality assurance standards, of course, and the organization software quality policy. And you create procedures according to those two things, okay? But if you need a specific rule, okay, for example, instructions, but it's not using procedure is not enough for this. You gonna create the work instructions. Okay, and after that we will talk about this following things: the need of software quality procedures, procedures and the procedure manual, work instructions and the work instruction manual, the organizational frameworks for preparing, implementing, and updating procedure and work instructions. And in this presentation, I will explain the contribution of procedures to software quality assurance, explain the difference between procedure and work instructions, and list the activities involved in maintaining an organization procedural manual. Okay, let's talk about the aim of the procedure and work instructions. Performance the task, processes of activities in the most effective and efficient way without deviation from quality requirements. Effective and efficient communication between the separate staffs involved in the development and maintenance of software systems.
Uniformity in performance achieved by conformity with procedures and work instructions, reduced by misunderstandings that leads to software errors. So you need procedure and work instructions to less errors, okay? Simplified coordination between tasks and activities performed by the various bodies of the organization. Better coordination means fewer errors, of course. Okay, there's a 5W problem, okay? And you can solve them with the procedures. Those are our 5W questions. What activities should be performed? How should the activity be performed? When should the activity be performed? Where should the activity be performed? And who should perform the activity? In ISO, it means that International Organization for Standardization discusses the issues of procedure preparation, including a table of contents for the procedures. And those are contents for the procedures. One, introduction. And after that, purpose of the project or what are you doing, it doesn't matter. Terms and abbreviations, applicable documents, methods, quality records and documentation, reporting and follow-up, responsibility for implementation, and list of dependencies. Okay, I'm sorry. And those are the contents for our procedure manual, okay? Managerial responsibility. For example, the company's software quality assurance policy or management quality review. Quality system. The software quality assurance organization, procedure and work instructions, preparation, approval, and distribution. Could be all of them. Or for example, contract review, the annual quality planning, design control. Design control, you develop the quality plans and quality assurance of the design. Documents and data control. You just control the documents. It's not that hard actually. Purchasing, subcontractors and suppliers file management, pre-contract review for subcontractors proposal or acceptance test for subcontracted software. Control of customer supplied products. You acceptance test for customer supplied software. Product identification and traceability. You configuration management. Actually, it's process control. Process control is you just control the software development processes. Inspections and testing. You doing unit tests and integration tests, or software system tests, or customers acceptance tests. You just testing everything. Control of inspections, measuring, and test equipments. This is what it is actually. Inspection and test status. Progress control for software development project. Let's continue. Control of non-conforming product. You just control the design and the code corrections, corrective and preventive actions. This is the easy one. Handling, storage, packaging, preservation, and delivery. You just make installations and deliveries. Control of quality records. You are controlling the quality records. Internal quality audits. You will make the training and certification of employees. And servicing means that maintains plan, change requirements management, dealing with customers complaint, all those things. And statistical techniques, so quality metrics and quality assurance costs, you will control them. Okay, I'm going to talk about two different instructions, work instruction after that, and one of them is departmental and other of them is the project management. Let's start with the department work instruction. Audit process for new software development subcontractors, supplier candidates, of course. Priorities for handling corrective maintenance task. Annual evolution of software development subcontractors.
on-the-job instructions and follow-up for new team member, design documentation templates and their application, programming instructions, doesn't matter which language, Java, C++, R, Python, doesn't matter. A project management work instruction. I'm going to talk about it right now, and after that I will explain the difference between the departmental work instruction and this one, okay? Coordination and cooperation with the customer, weekly process reporting by team leaders, special design report templates and their application in the project, follow-up of the beta site reporting, monthly process reporting to the customer. Coordination of installation and customer's team instructions. So it means that actually, if you're a worker of whatever, you can be a coder, you have to know work instructions, okay? If you are controlling the project, if you are the manager of the project, you have to know those things. So I told you that work instructions can change by a team, by a department, by a worker, it doesn't matter. Those are specific things for the every people, every team, or every department. Okay, special attention should be directed to the section on the method of the procedure prepared in a table format. The main advantage of a table format compared to textual descriptions in the clarity of the presentation of responsibilities and the activities documentation requirements. So you can make a table so it looks more understandable and easy. Another benefit of the table format is the completeness of definition, where the employee responsible to perform the task and the approving a person is defined for each activity, as well as the required documentation and reporting. The annex to this sample procedure presents the perform to be used when preparing a design review report. Okay, the procedures manual. Let's talk about it a little bit. A collection of a company's software quality assurance procedure is usually referred to as an software quality assurance procedures manual. The contents of an organization's procedure manual vary according to the types of software development and maintenance activities carried out by the organization, the range of activities belonging to each activity type, the range of customer and suppliers, the conceptions governing the choice of method applied by the organization to achieve the desired software quality objectives. So those are our manuals. Okay, let's talk about manual a little bit. The procedures manual reflects the software quality assurance level implemented by the organization. Organizations seeking a higher quality assurance level usually achieve it by adopting a national or international quality assurance standard. An organization that adopts a quality standard has to adapt its procedure to the standard's requirements. Where the standard defines what has to be performed, and the relevant organization's procedure determines how this requirement is to be fulfilled. In other words, each of the standard requirements has a corresponding relevant quality assurance standard. It just means that I'm gonna show you just a second, okay? I just show you a table, this one. In this table, as you can see, it says the same thing, okay? You got a procedure for your company, but you need a software quality assurance standard, international or national software quality assurance standard for your company. The ISO standard is probably one of the most suitable international standards to serve as a model for adopting as a basis for high-level software quality assurance system and development of the required quality procedure manual. I just show you the concepts of the table from the ISO standard, okay? Okay, how you can update your procedures or why you should update your procedures. Let's talk about them a little bit. Technological changes in development tools, hardware, communication equipment, etc. For example, you are a data scientist, okay? You are using R in your projects, but in Python you can use better things in Python. Then you shouldn't change your procedure. You can say that I'm not going to use R anymore. I can use Python. So you can update your procedure like this. Changes in the organization's areas of activity. For example, again, you are a data science company, but you don't want to do data science anymore. You want to do something else, then you have to change your procedures, of course. User proposal for improvements. Analysis of failures as well as success. Yes. Proposal for improvement initiated by internal audit reports. Learning from the experience of other organizations. For example, if you know a company do better jobs with another procedure, you want that procedure probably. Experience of the software quality assurance teams. Okay, let's make a summary and finish this. Contribution of procedures to software quality assurance. Software quality assurance procedures are assumed to reflect the most adequate method known to date for the performance of design and maintenance activities. Software quality procedures that are up to date and fully implemented by developers and maintenance teams assure conformity of their activities to the software's quality requirements and performance of the associated activities in the efficient and effective performance. At the same time, uniform development and maintenance enables easier and more effective professional review together with better communication with the maintenance team. I'm just talk about that a lot, so I'm not gonna explain it again. Okay, after that I'm gonna finish this. Difference between procedure and work instructions. Procedures define the activities performed in order to achieve given task, where performance is universal to the entire organization. Work instructions are complementary tools used to define local variations in the application of the procedure by specific teams or departments. Work instructions, however detailed and targeted, cannot contradict the organization's procedure. I'm saying that again. Procedures are general, universal things, okay? But the work instructions for a specific team member department, you have to do something specific, you need work instructions. But a general solution, you need procedures. This is end of my presentation. Thank you for your time.
Hello teacher, my name is Gizem. Our chapter is Procedures and Work Instructions. I will talk about 17.5 until 17.6.3. I will explain work instructions. My other friends explain in detail, but I want to put it briefly. First of all, work instructions deals with the application of procedures adapted to the requirements of a specific project team, customer, or other relevant party. While general methodologies define the procedure, the precise details that allow its application to specific project or unit are often laid out in our procedure. Work instructions should never contradict their parent procedure, although several instructions may be associated with another procedure. This means that one may add, change, or cancel work instructions without altering the respective procedure. Another thing about work instruction is a document that provides specific instructions to carry out an activity. And lastly, a work instruction is the most detailed description of a task. Here is a picture of work instructions, procedure, and process. Many people often confuse these three terms, process, procedure, and work instruction. In fact, most people write work instructions and call them procedure, and define a procedure as a process. Work instructions are documents that clearly and precisely describe the correct way to perform certain tasks that may cause inconvenience or damage if not done in the established manner. That is, describe, dictate, or stipulate steps that must be followed to correctly perform any specific activity or work. And the work instructions are mainly focused on explaining how specific activity is going to be carried out, and they are mandatory. And don't confuse procedure with the process. Procedure is a specific way to carry out an activity or process. When you have a process that must happen in a specific way and you specify how it happens, you have a procedure. The procedure is mandatory and is necessary to develop any quality management system. A procedure will be determined by the need to detail the specific way of doing the activities by regulations, regulatory compliance, or company policies. Procedures are used for those activities in which several operations are linked and different people or departments of the company are involved. And processes any activity or set of activities that uses resources to transform input elements into results can be considered as a process. What is procedure? Procedure is less detailed than a work instruction. It tells how a series of sequential tasks should be performed to achieve a specific outcome. An active SK procedures manual conceals numerous and often ongoing activities that guarantee the procedure contains applicability, preparation of the procedures, their implementation, and regular updating. These ongoing activities performed by SK team members together with the members of the teams and managers of the organizational units involved ensure that the procedures are properly adapted to technology-related changes as well as changes to client competition. It's a picture of workflow that explains process procedure in detail. Each step of your process procedures project results in important milestone being reached. Your entire process procedure project will move along better and quicker with better results if you achieve each milestone. The journey starts with project management. The extent of a business process change can be large or small. They may or may not require written procedure. Preparation of a new procedures. The initial steps taken to develop a new SK procedures manual should deal with the conceptual and organizational framework that determines the following. The manual will propose procedure manual, persons responsible for the procedure, the structure of a procedure, and the methods in which a current procedure is chosen to be updated. Lastly, the methods in which procedure and their updating are published and communicated to relevant users. This framework is usually also formulated as a procedure. Call it the subsequent steps will naturally deal with the specific procedures. Here is the preparing procedure steps. The process of preparing procedure is, first of all, appointment of an ad hoc committee. The ad hoc committee is comprised of professionals working in the units involved, SK team members, and experts in the respective topics to deal with. Assessment of the existing process. The assessment will be based on observation of the process, documents, study of quality problems, and client complaints. The findings will be summarized in a report. Preparation of a procedure draft. The committee will prepare the proposed draft. Review of the proposed draft. The draft should be reviewed by the leaders of the teams responsible to implement the procedure, the managers of the unit, and other persons involved in the procedure. Preparation of the final draft for approval. A satisfactory final draft will be prepared by the committee based on the comments and suggestions. And last one is approval of the proposed procedure by the authorized persons. It should be noted that approval is not automatic, and in a number of cases, the senior employee serving as authorizing persons initiates the further changes according to her comments. Now I will talk about the importance of the procedure review. In many cases, due to time pressure and other reasons, developers of the procedures tend to omit the draft review phase or to conduct it in a hasty manner, leaving almost no time for reviewer comments. This almost always results in lower quality of the proposed procedure, specifically displaying in a lack adaptations required for the relevant unit. And more substantial difficulties in implementing the procedures as persons who participated in the process of preparing the procedure by raising comments tend to cooperate in the implementation of the procedure, while persons that have not been given the chance to participate tend to oppose it. Implementation of new or revised procedure. The successful implementation of procedures usually requires performing all the following activities. First, the distribution of the procedure material. Ensure availability to team members and all persons involved in software development and maintenance. While substantial resources are invested in the communication and publicizing of the procedures, these are not enough to ensure full or even nearly full conformity. Second one, supporting coaching the users. In implementation by providing explanations and solving user difficulties in performing the required process. Support should continue for as long as is required for users to fully implement the new procedure. And last one is follow-up of implementation. Identify users who don't perform correctly the new procedure. Updated procedure. The motivation to update existing procedure is based, among other reasons, on the following. First of all, external changes. External changes contains technological changes in development tools, hardware, communication equipment, and so on. Changes in legal requirements, and last one is changes in the organization's areas of activity. Proposals for process improvement include user proposals for improvement, analysis of failures as well as successes, proposals for improvements initiated by internal audit reports, learning from the experience of other organizations, and experiences of the SK team. Procedural reasons is termination of a version lifetime, after which an update review is mandatory as defined by the procedure itself. A procedure that has not been updated for a considerable period. In most cases be inadequate and in worst cases obsolete. That is no longer needed or simplified disregarded. Both situations justify a review of the procedure and its implementation environment. A periodic review of neglected procedure can generally remind this situation by initiating updating or removal of the procedure from the manual. Once the need to update a procedure has been recognized, a process similar to that applied when preparing new procedures can be put into operation, and ad hoc team is convened to prepare an updated version. The assessment of the existing process, preparation of an updated procedure draft, review of the proposed updated procedure draft, and preparation of the final updated draft is followed by authorization and implementation activities. This implies that updating should be viewed as an integral stage to software quality assurance and as important as preparing new procedures. Here is the summary. First of all, procedure-defined activities performed in order to achieve given task, where performance is universal to entire organization. And work instructions are complementary tools used to define local variation in the application of procedure by specific team and departments. Work instructions, however detailed and targeted, cannot contradict the organization's procedure. And activities involved in maintaining an organization's procedures manual. Activities involved include activities for preparing new procedure, updating existing procedures, in implementing new and updated procedures and are as follows: initiation of a new procedure or updating of an existing procedure, appointment of an ethical committee, assessment of the existing process, preparation of a procedure draft, review of the proposed draft, preparation of the final draft for approval, and approval of the proposed procedure by authorized persons. These efforts involved organizations, SQA team members, in addition to members of ad hoc committees, either to prepare a new or update an existing procedure. Additional contributors to new and updated procedures are team members, managers, and others who review the proposed procedures, so their comments and suggestions. My slide is over. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Oguzhan. Today I want to present our chapter, which is 17, Procedure and Work Instruction. Today I will talk about my part, which is Design Review Procedure. Let's start it. Let's start with introduction. A design review is a product development milestone in which you assess a product design against specific criteria. The design review phase may identify problems in the current design or prototype before implementation. In my opinion, the design review procedure provides for the governance that prescribes a series of evaluations to determine the adequacy, correctness, and adherence of design in achieving objectives at the predefined, I mean before defined, phase of the design review procedure. Software design reviews are a systematic, comprehensive, and well-documented inspection of design that aims to check whether the specified design requirements are adequate and the design meets all the specified requirements. In addition, they also help in identifying the problems in the design process. Following the design review meeting, the designer and immediate team consolidate and prioritize feedback. They do it. Designers use the feedback to evaluate opportunities and report back to larger group on findings and action items. There is some kind of supporting clauses for physical purpose, applicability. Let's talk about those. Firstly is purpose. The purpose of this procedure is to define the essential steps that are required to ensure that a structured, systematic, and consistent approach is followed when design reviews are conducted. This procedure covers the required steps for the execution of design reviews, um, like user, technical, or something like that. They are doing designs conform to requirements, like designs are correct, like calculations or something else, and designs are integrated. Let's talk about applicability. Um, Firstly, I want to add this procedure applies to all professionals delegated by the relevant engineering center of excellence to perform engineering or engineering design related work with those. And I want to talk about the baseline and configurations. Baseline and configurations are related things which have to applicability. Baseline is a specification or product that has been formally reviewed and agreed upon, placed under configuration control and documentation management, and thereafter serves as the basis for further development. And the configuration is interrelated functional and physical characteristics of a product defined in product configuration information. In this screen, you are seeing a agenda example like overview, background, design review, feedback review, and lastly, prioritization. I want to talk about overview. Overview is spent approximately 5 minutes explaining the agenda and answering questions. In the background, the designer shares the purpose of the design or prototype, the intended user, business value, and key performance indicators. Overview and background are related. Thirdly, design review. Designers and product managers share the design while participants take notes. Feedback review. This is basic. Participants share their feedback, their things, their thoughts. Lastly, prioritization. The designer and product manager discuss the next steps, decisions with decision makers. I want to add this. Why we are using this? This is a kind of practice for conducting a design review efficiently. Developing a consistent agenda and format for a design review is imperative. Consistency improves cooperation and productivity. Uh, if we follow these tips, this will be efficient design review, in my opinion. Firstly, identify appropriate reviewers and invite them to the meeting. We can do this. Secondly, utilize project managers to project manage a design review. And thirdly, sharing is very important in the feedback review. In my opinion, share meeting protocols with all meeting participants, including the following: time and place is very important, goals and constraints, what is in and out of scope for meeting, what items to bring to the design review meeting, how to emotional responses, to be honest, and to remain respectful, and develop a detailed agenda like this. Develop a detailed agenda, share it before the meeting, provide the design package well in advance to ensure participants have enough time to prepare. After this, start the meeting by sharing the project timeline, goals, current status, and next steps. Those are very important things. And lastly, insist that participants come to the design review meeting prepared and ready to share feedback. All things are very important before starting writing a agenda. And question to ask during a design review. Firstly, we should ask, is the solution achieved with the developed design? Firstly, we should ask. Secondly, is the design reusable? Because reusability is very important at in this design review procedure steps. Thirdly, is the design well structured and easy to understand? Understandable is very important, like reusability. Lastly, is the design compatible with other platforms? Those are also very important questions. Those are makes empower your, like, how can I say? I mean, a design review meeting table will invariably procedure a list of action items, so that we should we have to ask this. And thirdly, what are we responsible for? There are three main parts. Firstly, system tester. Secondly, analyst. And thirdly, program designer for this project. Firstly, system tester, sorry. The system tester understands the technical issues of design and compare them with the design created for sorry, my recording was stopped for program issues. I will continue from there. I was talking about what are we responsible for. Firstly, system tester. Secondly, analyst. Thirdly, program designer for this project. A system tester understands the technical issues of design and compare them with the design created for a similar project. Secondly, analyst. Those are responsible for writing system documentation. And in here, we are responsible for all system documentation. Thirdly, program designer for this project understands the design in order to derive detailed program designs. I want to add this. What are real responsibilities of the reviewers? In my opinion, uh, those are not feasible to invite specialists in all applicable areas, how can I say, of a product in order to conduct an extremely comprehensive review. It's important that reviewers examine the product in areas outside of their main area of expertise. Some of the general considerations reviewers should address are included following checklist. What this checklist? What they are includes. Firstly, do the data and results. Taking results support the conclusions drawn. And secondly, do the assumptions seem reasonable? And thirdly, are the areas where the risk appear to be higher than normal? We should see the high risk degrees. Which one is normal? Which one is high risks? We should see this. After that, we should continue which one is less less risks. After that, are there items of significance that have not been addressed? Does the design satisfy the applicable requirements? Are the requirements that were intentionally not satisfied? Is that acceptable? Again, this acceptable, easy to understand, is very important. Okay. After that, you are seeing a report example in the screen. This is a kind of design review report example. At the top of the page, you are seeing date of design review, project title, participant, and this design review's type. After this, documents title and their version and revision. After this, action items, description of AI, their responsibilities, their scheduled completion, their completion date, and sign. In here, you are seeing decisions table. After that, you are seeing members and their members leader, document reviewer leader. and member 1, member 2, member 3, and member 4, and their names, their sign, which they signed this review, something like this. And in this report, we are understanding this. Who benefits from design review? Firstly, local authorities and developers and project design teams, community groups. How can I say? Those are benefits from this design review. Local authorities is carried out the pre-application stage or after an application has been logged. Design review enables local planning authorities to ensure that developers and design teams procedure high quality, inspiring buildings and the public spaces. Secondly, developers are benefits from this design review. Professionals from both the public and private sector will usually welcome timely and constructive analysis of their design and the direction of their design review project. And the strength of a design review panel's advice lies in its independence, objectivity, and ability to analyze a schema. Project design teams design reviews gives constructive, impartial advice to architects, urban designers, landscape architects, and other design practitioners from all of the professionals who are able to examine the project design. All things we are benefits from this all types of users are benefits from this design review. Design review procedure a kind of, and it should be independence, it should be objective, it should be ability to analyze all things, problems, positive sides, negative sides, something like that. And thank you for listening to me. This is my first online presentation. This is my YouTube link, but this is my first recording. This is my second recording after your notification. I hope you will like it. Thank you.